Hey. Hi. Hello. Hey guys, and thank you so much for watching. As you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to turn into an e-boy. From my clothes down to the hair and makeup. We're going to do a transformation today. If you don't know what an e-boy is, the definition of it online, it's a counterpart to the e-girl, an archetype from TikTok. I'm telling you, this app is taking over the world. I feel like it originated from Instagram. They're inspired by the signature emo style, but with a twist. And a lot of them have a very extensive online presence. And if you don't know what an e-girl is, they say it's a species of emo found on TikTok. Again, these are just definitions that I found that they say online. An e-girl, usually she started out spending all her time, if it's not on Tumblr, it's Instagram. They wear very bright eyeshadow, quirky and really cool clothes. Most of the times the clothes seem to be not only a emo goth style, but sometimes a 90s style, I find. There's usually some glitter and sharp eyeliner, and so the e-girl and the e-boy share a lot in common. So today we're gonna turn into an e-boy. There's not much facial hair going on, unfortunately. I would love to turn into a full-on manly man boy, but we're gonna do the quirky cute e-boy. And I'm not here to make fun of e-boy or e-girl styles. I actually think it's cool. And I'm also going to talk about growing up. I mostly get embarrassed when I get hurt in front of people, or if I show weakness that I'm super sick. So maybe my body takes that as like false strength. So I'm gonna tell you about all the embarrassing times. I find it embarrassing. A lot of people don't find this embarrassing, of when I was super duper sick or injured, because it's a lot, even though I haven't, knock on wood, been in a situation where I broke a bone yet. But the day isn't over. Before I filmed this video, my studio lights caught on fire and were smoking. So the e-boy has very natural foundation, if there's any foundation. Sometimes they'll have a lot of blush and some eyeshadow, and sometimes they'll sport liner in the forms of like hearts and stars with a more goth inspired smoky eye situation and liner on the under eye. So we're gonna do something like that. My absolute favorite e-boys that I follow on TikTok are Trevor Wagner. Oh my goodness, how cute is he? He's like so beautiful, it's like mesmerizing and ridiculous. He was the first e-boy I really discovered. Like I discovered him, no, that I saw on TikTok. Another one is Mr. Boy Wolf, and I follow him because I feel like if my uncle who's deceased, if he was younger than me and on TikTok, he would look just like Mr. Boy Wolf. I just love his vibe and the way he dances and his style. And my also favorite is Neon Banks, not Neon on TikTok. He's currently going out with one of the most famous, most talented makeup artists, Abby Roberts. Just love them together. So I need to make sure I moisturize if I'm gonna be doing, I think I'm gonna do stars, some glitter, and bright pink eyeshadowy blush with a light foundation base. Gotta primerize too. I do about 2 or 3 primers. I put a moisturizing primer down first, just for my skin type personally, and then I put a pore filling primer second. I really wanna get that soaked all in. So we should start off with the foundation, concealer if we need any, a very light foundation, because again, we want to look sun-kissed and natural. And then I'm gonna do heavy amounts of contour to make my face like more boyish with thicker brows. The reason why I also want to talk about getting hurt, feelings, stuff like that when I was injured, because I feel like men growing up, they were taught to not show your feelings, don't cry if you get hurt, are you a baby, cry like a girl, all of this weird stereotypical stuff. And the reason why I like e-boys is because they're more pushing the feminine role into the male masculine role. No longer is the wife beaters, the very masculine looking, wow, I've got primer just on my nose. The very masculine looking football player type guy is considered the coolest. I love that people like Harry Styles, Jaden Smith, people like them who aren't like just directly to the male norms. So let's first correct these under eye bags because I've got them for sure. Charlotte Tilbury's corrector in peach is like my favorite. Because I feel like people like Neon Banks, Trevor Wagner, definitely they do not have like extreme under eye bags. And I'm using a foundation base by Graftobian that's usually used in the cosmetic industry for TV, film, and commercial. So it will look more natural. And let me talk about when I first noticed that I don't think I have a very high pan tolerance. Some of these stories might sound like I do, but I think it's also because I get embarrassed. Because again, like I always say, growing up in an Asian American household, we were taught to not cry a lot, not show emotion. So I remember when I was in softball in middle school, I was like one of the players that they really made sure went on and played the game, and I wasn't just benched, because I was really good third baseman on catching any fly balls and stuff like that. I had like some very good catching capabilities, and I could hit a ball pretty well, and I've done a home run or two. At that age, it was impressive, I guess, in softball. Anyways, I remember I hit a home run at this park near my house while I was playing softball, and I was running towards home and I sprained my ankle. I thought I actually broke my ankle because there was a hole right after you slide into home base, and I was running towards home and I didn't see the hole, and I just toppled onto my own foot, and I literally thought that I broke my foot. And they brought in a van to pick me up, and I'm not the one to get in strangers' vans, but I saw my dad in there, and my dad and my mom took me home. We went to the doctors, thought it was broken. Turns out it was just a really nasty sprained ankle. And I was crying like a baby, and my dad usually says not to cry, but he was just wiping my tears because I think he didn't want people to see me cry, because it's such a big deal for me to be on that baseball team for him, I think. And I was just crying, not out of the pain, but out of embarrassment, because I didn't want to have my dad see me cry or anybody on my team see me cry as they lugged me off home. Oh my gosh, and the same time I was in softball, I was also in middle school, and I had this rare throat virus at the time. I am not joking you, it's called the Coxsackie throat virus. And what it is, I know, hilarious. I was so embarrassed to tell my friends what I had at school because everyone was laughing so hard, and they actually like, ooh, I didn't think you got around, Kat, because they thought I was a slut. That's what they like labeled me as, and I was like so far from a slut, but with that virus name, it was funny, but I was embarrassed to tell them. And what it was a ton of blisters on my tonsils and all throughout my throat that were painful, but at the same time I was just happy to be home and away from school and all the bullies and getting to eat ice cream and drinking. Even the medicine wasn't bad because it was cherry flavored of this white substance liquid that I got to drink. And I just saw it as like an awesome time to eat all the ice cream. But my mother, I remember, was so surprised how I was taking it because it sounded and looked terribly painful. There's these white pus looking like blisters in my throat, down my throat, in my tonsils. It was terrible because I couldn't eat solid food for a very, very long time. And around the time where I had this throat virus, I also had chicken pox, which isn't a big deal, but I had chicken pox when I was 12, which you usually want to get chicken pox younger, because if you get them when you're like almost a teenager or when you're a teenager, I had them in my throat, ears, nostrils, everywhere. And it was not a good situation, because once you get chicken pox in your throat and everything, it is not fun at all. Again, my mother was super surprised that I wasn't like screaming in pain with the throat virus and chicken pox. I think I had that all the same year, and that was the year I was absent from school for over 2 months, and I almost didn't make it through that grade because I was absent so long from being so sick. And like I said, I've never broken a bone, but I've had kidney stones, which was so surprising to me because mine felt like nothing. And I felt so bad even saying that to people, because I remember my best friend Chelsea had kidney stones and was like crying, like bent over. And like everyone that has kidney stones tells me how difficult and painful it is. They've explained that the pain is as bad as birth, but mine, I don't know if it's just me or just my kidney stones, because mine were fairly big. I peed out kidney stones the size of rice in the doctor's office, and I had multiple kidney stones, not just one. Drinking the cranberry juice. My mother gets a lot of kidney stones. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. She's had it twice. Both times I was with her and had to drive her to the hospital. I've never seen my mother in such pain, crying, like shivering, shaking from shock over the pain. It was so bad she was throwing up on the way to the hospital and at the hospital, and everyone was so calm while my mom was throwing up all over the floor and people's feet. And I'm like, why are people acting so calm? Why aren't they helping her out as much? They are acting like it was such a calm ordeal over kidney stones. So I was terrified of getting kidney stones because my mom got them, and she's a super strong woman, and she was like in so much pain, you know? So I was like, what the heck? I hope I never get this. And then I got them, but it wasn't as bad for me, and I felt bad because my mom was like, how is this not painful for you as it was for me? That's so much powder. My emo outfit that I worked so hard on is getting powder everywhere. I'm powdering down my face so that I could put more powder. I've noticed when you put powder on cream, it won't blend. Like if you don't powder your foundation before you put on a powder blush or powder contour, it doesn't blend as well. So that's why I'm powdering now. Let's put some dimples in there. I'm getting my absolute favorite contour palette for looks like this to use the cool tones. It has a great mix of cools and warms. This is the Lunatic Cosmetics Labs Volume 1, I think, contour palette. It's amazing. I'm just contouring out the hollows of my cheeks, if they are hollow after quarantina. I don't know anymore. I don't know if there's a hollow bone, cheekbone on my body. I'm even gonna do a faux Adam's apple. Have you guys seen the drag kings on TikTok? I'll put my favorite one. I forgot what their name was, but I love their work. I'm trying to hollow out my eyes so that it looks like my lid is a lot more hooded, and like this brow bone will stick out more, because males tend to have bigger, heavier set brow bones than females. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish with all this contour on my face. I'm just gonna get a bare fluffy brush to really blend out the contour so it doesn't look too crazy. Oh my gosh, did I tell you about my epic 2-year battle with lung infections? So I know I've told the history of my love life, my recent love life on this channel so many times. I'm putting a lot of like concentrated, like editorial glam for men, blush. I met my boyfriend online, and we had a long distance relationship for 2 years. He lived in North Carolina and I lived in California. Now we both live in Texas, but we were doing long distance for 2 years, and that much flying, I got so sick. Imagine flying now, oh my gosh. But I had so many, what do you call it, lung infections, that the first time I had it, I've never had one, so I still was like asking a lot of help from my parents because I thought I just had a cold for a very, very long time. And it turns out I was just not feeling right. I had this strong intuition that something was off. So I went to the urgent care since I just did not feel like it was a regular cold, and I was explaining the symptoms to my dad, and he was like, oh, you're just over exaggerating. It's probably just this cold because you travel so much. And I felt terrible, and they were so surprised that I walked in by myself to the hospital because they said I shouldn't be driving the condition I was in, and if I didn't come in that day, I probably would have passed out and blacked out because I had a super serious, really bad case of a lung infection that was so bad that it could have turned into walking pneumonia super quick and I would have passed out. It was so bad that they had to give me these emergency shots in my buttocks. That was so intense. They were so thick and disgusting. I'm gonna cover my feminine cupid's bow and make my lips wider. It was so bad I had to have these shots that were thick and I could feel them. They were pretty painful, but I took it like a champ. I was on these machines where I had to breathe into them at the hospital before I could go home since I drove there by myself. And then I went home with inhalers and all these pills. And I took the pills. They didn't tell me that I had to take it on a full stomach. So I took them. I lived at home by myself. And I was so high and dizzy because I didn't take it with a full meal. Because no one told me. That even my dad was like, oh, are you super high? I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna do a little bit of like a shadow of like there's some stubble about to come up. But at the current moment there is none. Let's powder. More powder. So I was like high on these meds, had so much lung infections that I was like coughing up green sludge. There's another time recently where I thought I had like a lung infection again, and it was like bronchitis, turns out. Bronchitis was crazy too because like a lung infection, I was like coughing up green slime and it was hard to breathe. Bronchitis was different though because I had to have moisture all the time. Like my lungs had to be moisturized, meaning it felt dry as a desert in my lungs and throat all the time. So I had to like be on so many like inhalers and stuff for that as well. But again, people were like, I'm surprised you're not like acting like you're dying, because everyone thinks I'm like a weak human, I feel like, in my family, because I'm the sensitive one. That's why I want to turn to EBOY, because if I was a boy, I'd still be the sensitive EBOY in my family. I feel like I kind of understand them. I'm doing highlights and contours all over my face. The craziest story of them all was when I was in Mexico. Me and my family used to go to Mexico all the time together. I was in high school age, I think, at the time. I wanted to play baseball with my friends, but we had no bat. We made our own bat. I think I've told this story on this channel before, out of pieces of wood. And I wanted to get some tape to put on the base of the bat since it was like splintery. So I borrowed tape from someone's RV camper in Mexico, and I swung the door open. The door came back on me, hit the bat, and smashed the bat into my face to where the roof of my mouth was split in half. Yeah, it was split in half between my two front teeth right here, all the way back there, and there's no hospitals, my parents told me over there. So I just had to lay in bed with a sack of frozen peas and no air conditioning in the hot Mexico sun in an RV for the rest of the trip. And I was crying because I thought I lost my teeth, and again I was embarrassed because my family was there. I didn't want to look weak, son. But I was crying, and like they're like, oh, you're crying. I'm like, did I lose my teeth? That's why I was crying. I was crying out of fear more than pain. I was fine with the pain. I'm just brushing through these brows I just made from my own two hands. They're homegrown. I need some brow gel. Your boy's favorite brow gel is the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow. No, for real, this stuff is great. Oh wait, I need a concealer like line out. What I mean is they have like a shaved brow, some EBOYs. I want to do it. Why am I so excited about this part? Don't know. I wish I had my P. Louise concealer. I lost her. Gosh, losing concealer. My studio lights going up in flames. What a tragedy. It's like the nightmare of influencers. The one time where I did think I was a little hardcore was when I was in makeup school and my intestines were bleeding from the inside out, and it turns out that my butt was bleeding from being allergic to wheat and gluten and rice. In makeup schools, when I realized it, and I was internally bleeding for 10 days, it turns out, they put me under a colonoscopy that I woke up in the middle of, and I was looking at the screen. I'm like, oh, is this a video game? And this dude that was giving me my colonoscopy was like, you're awake? I'm like, yeah, what's this video game? Looking at my colon on the screen. And they said my colon was so irritated and shredded from being all red from the allergies. But I didn't feel anything different. My mom says I was born constipated, and it's probably because I was allergic to so many things. And no one bothered to have me tested for allergies. This is so hard to do. Alright, so I'm going to put some shimmer, just like right here. Just a little bit. Am I looking like an e-boy yet? What's an e-boy without black eyeliner if it's emo inspired? I also recently found out that I have bad kidneys, damaged kidneys, and while they were checking for my kidneys, they found out that I had water in my lungs at the time. It was uncomfortable, and the woman's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "How are you so calm? Because your lung is like really filled with water, and your kidneys are not looking too like great." I'm like, "Oh." I usually am so calm about things. Like the other night, I don't know if you could tell, I've got a red spot right there. I cheese grated my finger open. And Corey has to ask me, "Are you okay? Like, what's wrong?" Because I was just walking around the house like this. And then he's like, "What the heck did you do?" I was bleeding everywhere. And I'm like, "Oh, I just grated my finger open with the cheese grater instead of the cheese. The grater hit my finger. Why am I like this?" That's great. Put a wig on, shall we? This wig is so Neon Banks looking. If Neon Banks had a really, really bad dye job that made his hair so damaged. Why is there blues? But I thought it was so e-boy of me. Wouldn't an e-boy wear this? I should spray. I'm gonna spray some roots. Yes, rootage. Make it look real. Even though this wig looks like it came out of a Final Fantasy knockoff. Ooh, I should color in my collarbone. Yes! Killing it. I need to look emaciated, even though I don't even want to know how much weight I gained. I feel like their hair always looks wet, so. Oh wait, I almost forgot. I gotta put in some piercings. What's an e-boy without piercings, man? I even got some earring piercings. What kind of e-boy would I be if I didn't have any chains? You know what I mean? So I hope you guys liked this look. And with that, we're completely done with this e-boy makeup transformation. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had to do that creepy, weird thing that they do, that they look up at the ceiling with their eyes. I don't know why they do this. Definitely Neon Banks inspired. Leave me a comment down below on what type of aesthetic you would always want to try. E-boys and e-girls are definitely ones that I would like to try. I would even go out in public looking like an e-boy or e-girl. Order some burgers through a drive-thru like this. Thank you so much for watching. Would you go on a date with me? I'm kidding. Now it's time to take this off. I hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe for more videos like this. I do 2 videos a week. Every Monday and Friday I do beauty makeup videos. I guess this is beauty makeup. I don't know. I do effects videos as well. I hope you guys had fun today on this channel. So much jewelry to take off. Wow, this is like a late night routine. Do e-boys do late night removal makeup routines? I would want to see it. I want to see their tours of their homes and what their nighttime routine is. Does it include staying up till 5 in the morning, eating cold pizza, and taking off all your jewelry and makeup? Because that interests me. Such a process. Wow. I had so much fun today though. Guess what I get to do after this for my late night routine is wash makeup brushes. I hope my studio lights don't catch on fire again so that we can keep filming videos. I ordered more lights to put bulbs in those, but they don't come until like the end of May because of Miss Rona taking over the world. I think I'm just gonna wash my face off, looking like Captain Hook now, modern day. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, creators.